Hello and welcome to the Wedding Dish Podcast. Grab your fork and knife and take a seat at our table as we dish on all things weddings. You'll hear stories and tips from real couples and wedding pros about love, life, and entrepreneurship. I am Sarah Alapin. I am the host of the Wedding Dish and the CEO of Photos from the Hardy and District Bliss. And we have our little French bulldog friend, Clouseau. He's in his podcasting chair right behind me, and you're probably going to hear him snoring throughout. Thank you, everyone, for tuning into the Wedding Dish today. I am really excited to bring on today's guest, and for a little bit of a different reason. If you haven't been listening to, well, if you've missed the past few episodes, you might not know we are hosting a couples social in DC, and it's a really fun event. We'll talk a little bit about it more. But today we have our venue for the couple social on the Wedding Dish, which is very, very exciting. So we are dishing with a unique, authentic venue for weddings and events. It's actually a food commissary that's born out of a mid-century warehouse with lofty ceilings. It's easily transformed, and it has a lot of personality, but it can fit your personality perfectly. It's such a beautiful space. It's so much fun. There are so many options to transform it. I absolutely love it. Today, I am joined by the amazing people behind Mess Hall, Al and Jordan. Thank you so much for being with me on the Wedding Dish today.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, we're so excited to be here.
Yay! We are recording this early on a Monday morning, and that is brutal for events people.
So true.
We're licking our wounds from the past weekend, but we're so excited to be here. You've got us amped up.
Yes, I love it. I really appreciate you all taking the time, of course, and I'm really excited to dish with you. So a little bit, I kind of want to just learn a little bit more about, Al, why you decided to open Mess Hall. What made you open this amazing space?
Well, Mess Hall was born out of a need for more commercial kitchen space in the District of Columbia. So I had been a caterer for something like 14 years and recognized the need for commercial kitchen space, which is a prerequisite for companies who want to open up a food business. Whether you're a food truck or a caterer or a burgeoning restaurateur, you need to be operating out of a licensed legal space. And I wanted to open up my own catering company and was unable to find a space after looking for a couple of years. So decided to solve for that by opening up a space that could be shared by others to help diffuse the cost and sort of remove or lower the barrier of entry to help encourage small businesses and unique food businesses to be able to launch here in the District of Columbia.
That's really cool.
It's so fun. We get to meet so many new and talented people all the time. And having come from an events background, of course, I was going to build in some event space into it, which enables us to involve these really cool, talented young entrepreneurs and wrap them into our events to really kind of tie it up with a nice little bow.
That's really awesome. I love that. And how did you end up finding the location of Mess Hall?
It was not for a lack of effort. We looked for almost 3 years before we found this old blighted warehouse, at which point we got with a really talented architect to design the space to be multifunctional and to kind of honor the bones of the building so it still has that authenticity. When you walk into it, it's largely concrete, so it's super cool with super high ceilings, and we've warmed it up with some wood that we reclaimed from just outside of the Beltway, and it took about a year to make that conversion.
Wow. So this was a 4+ year project.
It was. Yeah. It took 4 years exactly to come to fruition.
Wow. That's amazing. Al, I didn't know this story.
You follow your dreams, and we see people doing it every day. It's very inspiring when we get to meet people who are doing the same, and then again wrap them into the events, because everybody's got a story to tell, and everybody's got a lot of passion that they bring to their business and therefore to the events that we do.
I just love it. I love everything about it. And I love the people that work with you. I know I didn't prep you for this, but I do actually want to ask about it. How do you find such amazing caterers and beverage people to come in? Everyone that you work with just is lovely and they're so talented.
Yeah, thank you. By now we've just celebrated our 8th year in business, and we've got a pretty good reputation within the city. So people come to us, and of course, just being immersed in the industry of the most talented food makers, we tend to run into each other. We are governed by our rule number 1, which is no assholes. And we stand by that. That's always been first and foremost. So to your point, and it really just does come through. We have just amazing people who are within our walls, and I like to say that we really do get the best bridal couples too, since we're so far from being a stuffy environment. We just love to throw parties that attract the right people, both on the host side and then on the vendor side. So it's always different. It's always fun.
That's so cool. And I agree. I think you have some of the most fun, unique weddings in your space. So we're gonna dive right into that. What types of events and weddings are attracted to Mess Hall?
Oh my gosh, so many different events, so many different weddings. We just hosted a wedding this past weekend that was so much fucking fun.
Yes.
We had a pizza oven outside with one of our vendors, and they were just throwing pizza after pizza for everybody. We had an incredible DJ outside in our garage bay, and inside it was like a cocktail party. And we had specialty cocktails. We have local beer. We only serve local beer, which is awesome, and local spirits. The wedding a few weeks ago, we had a disco ball in our garage bay. We had a 9-person band, which I was like, no way. Can we have 9 people like on stage and like all of these different instruments all over the place? It was so much fun. But along with weddings, we also host dinner parties, holiday parties, trivia nights, ticketed events. We have an incredible sushi chef that puts on an event we call Some Disassembly Required. And he literally gets an entire tuna from Japan. And we host incredible parties and dinner events. And we also had another Some Disassembly Required where we had an entire pig butchering. So literally our event space turns into something unique every single time we host an event, whether it is a wedding or a dinner or a ticketed event. And I used to work at a different wedding venue, and it was more stuffy. It was more, okay, here's a banquet room, and here are your circle chairs or your circle tables and a giant space and the same preferred vendors that you're like, who are these people? And it's so awesome to be able to use all of these, incredible, talented chefs and caterers, and I get to see them every single day. So then seeing them at our venue, it's just cool. It's so awesome working with them, and the brides and grooms that we get to work with are always so laid back, so cool. They're always foodies. And so one of the people that we had a wedding with, they had a wedding on Saturday, and then they came to one of our events that same week. They were like, we love this venue. Of course, we're going to come to your event. And yeah, it's just awesome. We make the best relationships, and I love working here. I love hosting events at Mess Hall. It's just fun. It's always fun.
I love that. And you hit a couple of things that are very personal for me. That relationship building piece is it just makes everything more fun. And when your vendors are having fun at your wedding, it's even a little bit more fun for you, which I realize is probably an underknown thing. And like, how do you anticipate that? But if you know that they get along, it actually like makes the whole experience more fun because we really can like look out for each other differently and make sure all the needs are taken care of, and also like joke and be real humans. Like periodically, which is also, it's just nice.
Oh my God, totally. I mean, literally at one of the weddings, I hopped into the photo booth with the bride and groom, and it's so much fun. I literally have the pictures on my fridge right now. It's awesome.
I love that so much. Also, Jordan, I have to give you the award for being the first person to say fucking awesome this season.
I'm so sorry. Did not mean to do that.
Oh no, it's totally cool. Usually it's me.
Perfect.
I love that. That's so much fun. I mean, that's one of the reasons that Mess Hall is so unique. And it's just, I love the idea that you can go to your venue and have an event there, like not that you're hosting, but be a guest at an event there, like before or even after your wedding. It's once your wedding's done, you have a lot of found time, because you were working so hard to plan something, and then so you kind of get to do these like different activities that you maybe wouldn't have realized you had time for before. And that's just, it's kind of a cool thing to be able to revisit the place where you got married, and experience it from more of the guest side.
Oh,
Which is
totally. I mean, and it's so interesting to see the couples come into our venue not on their wedding day or on their celebration night. They're more relaxed. And they get to just enjoy, and they are not the main event. And of course, they love being the main event at Mess Hall. But it's so cool. I just, seeing them at the, inside the great room, at the table, playing trivia night. I'm like, whoa, hey guys, what's up?
it's so fun. It's like you really get to continue that relationship afterward.
Yes, exactly.
It's always great, and they're always honored guests. And as you said, Sarah, you were right on. When it comes to sometimes it's beforehand. So our wedding from 2 weeks ago came to us because the bride had come to Ramen World, which is one of our events where we bring in all of the hottest ramen restaurants from around the city. And she said, "You know what? This is so much fun. I want to do an event here, and what can you do to customize it to us?" And this is kind of how we always start our events anyway. In terms of planning, we want to find out from the bride and groom what's important to them. Spoiler alert, it's usually food, or a really great bar featuring, as Jordan said, all local, made in DC spirits and beers. But that's sometimes how it all begins. Someone comes into the space and says, what is this place, and how can we make it ours? And then that's when Jordan gets to work.
Yeah, literally last week I was touring the venue with a couple that wants to do a wedding, and the husband or the groom was like, "Well, wait, you guys also do holiday parties? Can we also talk about a holiday party this year?" I'm like, "Of course we can."
Sure can. That's amazing. I love that. I love that so much. So tell me a little bit about some of the unique celebrations that you've hosted at Mess Hall.
Yeah, I mean, we touched on that a little bit, but we are having a dinner party on Thursday that we are so freaking excited about. We are bringing in a Michelin star chef and a doctor, and it's going to be an anatomy dinner, where we're having a 3-course dinner, and it's going to be beautifully prepared by Marcel Ephraim. I'm so excited for his menu. But the doctor is going to explain the anatomy of everything that we're going to be dining and eating that night. And we're going to have wine pairings and cocktails. And, that's just one intimate dinner. And, the planning process in that event, is so extreme. So many emails, so much back and forth, phone calls, and, oh, we should order this, and, oh, we should get this, and what about that, and that's just one unique event. And then in the larger picture and grand scheme of things, we host so many different weddings, each of them unique. And I really do mean that. No event is the same. Al, what do you think other events?
Yeah, I mean, everyone is different. One of the more exciting ones that I think that we had was transforming the space for Mrs. Obama for an intimate dinner, where she and some honored guests attended. But then on the other extreme, we hosted something right around that time called Fight Club, which was it was sort of food fight club, and we had a couple of competing chefs who were going head to head in a variety of wild and wacky challenges. By about midnight, it devolved into a Jello wrestling competition where they were just going at it. I mean, you just never know what's it. We're basically a big concrete, blank slate where anything can happen, whether it's fire dancers or a very traditional Jewish wedding under a chuppah. Gay weddings. I mean, you name it. I mean, whatever can come to mind, we make it happen. And part of that is due to the crown jewel of our event space, which is our demonstration kitchen. It's basically a show kitchen, which has all of the things that you would need to pull off, basically cook almost any kind of food that's imaginable. And it's right there in the open. This makes for a very experiential party where people can come up and order food, have things customized, not just if there's an allergy concern, but just to make everything super engaging and fun, and to be far away from the rubber chicken that we used to joke about as in my catering days, a dry chicken for weddings and all that. Not here at Mess Hall. We have a variety of caterers who are in-house who will be cooking the food right here and now for the entire event, and doing it in most cases live in front of everyone so that they feel like they've gone behind the scenes into the kitchen. And there's that theater component to it, which makes everything just a lot more fun and, certainly more fresh.
Yeah, it's so beyond just how delightful the food would be, and that when you're at a wedding at Mess Hall or an event at Mess Hall, but it's also an actual experience that you're creating for guests. So it's, the drama, it's an activity, it's something for people to do and enjoy. It's like theater. It's like if you were to bring in a band, but instead of the star being the music, the star is the food. And I think that's a pretty cool activity to have at your wedding.
It makes it a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I could totally
And
see
memorable.
that.
Yep.
I could totally see that. When we traditionally think of wedding venues, a lot of times what we think of is, especially in the DC area and the outlying areas, would be like vineyards or barns, something that's like rustic, or we think of like a traditional hotel kind of venue in this space. What about, other than the cool experience and what advice could you offer to couples who are looking for their wedding venue that maybe aren't attracted to that hotel vibe or the going out into the country to a vineyard or a barn?
Yeah, I mean, I think knowing your vision is so important. We get leads from people every day. Oh, we want to have our wedding here. Oh, we want to have our wedding here. Why do you want to have your wedding at Mess Hall? What is it? Is it the food? Is it the environment? Is it, the vendors we have? Is it because you want to do a cocktail hour, or because you want to have some sort of band or food truck? If you want it to be seated or standing, you want to have a live, interactive food station. What makes your wedding yours? And I think the cool thing about couples at Mess Hall is they are, interesting, unique, laid back individuals. They are cool DC, DMV folks for the most part. And knowing what you want to pull off at our venue helps us, because we work with you. We want, if you say, I want a fire thrower, I'm like, okay, we got to go find one. If you say, I want to have, a local DC artist come in and have, them do a painting live. Okay, let's go check. Like, I know some. And just knowing, what guests you're inviting, what kind of vibe you want. We are a unique venue. We are an intimate venue. I'm friends with everybody there, and I will become friends with you if, whether you like it or not. So my biggest thing always, whenever I meet with a couple, whether I'm touring with them or I'm on the phone with them or emailing back and forth with them, is, what do you want to do here? And because it won't be a regular wedding. Totally it won't. So what kind of cool party do you want to throw? Let's do it. What about you, Al? Do you think there's any other advice that you would give?
I think it's just fun to be part of the discovery process, and people come to us sometimes with a complete vision of exactly what they want to do. But a lot of times people come to us without really having a good sense of what exactly they want to do, because the venue is often one of the first things that they have to decide on. So maybe the vision hasn't really kind of come together. So sometimes they ask us, well, what do you normally do here? And as Jordan said, everything is different. So we try and ask pretty good questions along the way to see what's the most important components for each potential event, and then delve into it from there, start offering some options, show a variety of pictures, which are often helpful to help an effort to give some general shape. And then we can start zooming in and delving into some more of the details from there. So I would say, surround yourself with, to the couples, I would say my suggestion would be surround yourself with people who are really good at what they do to help get to the type of event that you want to do and get to the bottom of what is your ideal day. Who do you want to be around? Make sure that you're within a venue that can accommodate the number of people, so that you're not, cutting people from your list who you would want to be there just because the venue isn't big enough, and finding out what your ideal day looks like and putting the right vendors together to make that happen.
That's great advice, both of you. I could not agree more. And I think an important piece that both of you just mentioned here is that you want to find people who are going to help guide you toward your why and not tell you what your day should look like. So when you're, and your venue sets your date because it's based on their availability. So, that's your first piece. And so if you go into the space, and it's really helpful when someone does walk you through those questions, because you've never done this before as a couple. You aren't going out and planning a wedding 7 times a weekend. And even being in the wedding industry, I was completely overwhelmed and lost when I got married. So I think it's really important to find people who care about your vision and who are going to help you find it. So that's a really cool thing that both of you just mentioned that I wanted to call forward. Awesome. Well, so I know I mentioned this, but we are throwing a couple social. So what that is you can come in for essentially a wedding style party, and you can actually see Mess Hall in action. We have a ton of really fun activities planned. It's going to be great times. It is free for our couples to attend. So if you want to check Mess Hall out, it is a great opportunity. It's going to be tons of fun. It's going to be great. I'm sure you can tell how much I absolutely adore all of these people at Mess Hall. Al and Jordan, you two are just lovely, lovely humans. And I'm really excited for our event together.
We're having so much fun putting it together too. I can't wait for the couples to see what magic you've brought as well, Sarah.
Well, thanks.
I can't wait. I can't wait to meet all the couples. That's my favorite part.
Me too. Jordan, I think you might be like my spirit person.
Oh, I mean, that is a huge compliment. Thank you.
And that must be why Al likes us both so much, and we both like Al so much.
I think we make a pretty good team, and it wouldn't be the first time that Jordan's heard that either. She's a great person to have on your side.
I could not agree more. Both of you are. Well, thank you so much for being on the Wedding Dish today, for sharing so much awesome information. I'm really excited to come in for some of your events. I was disappointed that I was missing the anatomy dinner. I'm just a little bit too in wedding season to add anything to my plate, and then we're out of town for 3 weeks. So we're headed to the Maldives and Paris. So I am
rough
not
life. Totally rough life. Jeez Louise.
celebrating the end of wedding season in style. Amazing. So where can people find you online?
Totally. So messhalldc.com. You can follow us on Instagram. Again, messhalldc. You can follow us on Facebook. You can follow us on Twitter. I am on there all the time. Like, if you want to watch our stories on Instagram, I am always posting cool events that we're putting on, or every single wedding that we have, I am constantly videoing and taking photos and tagging all of the vendors, tagging the couples. We are on Eventbrite, and we are constantly hosting ticketed events. If you guys ever want to tour the venue, anybody, you can email me, or, get on our website and send us an email, events@messhalldc.com. That will come to both Al and I. So we are both going to be talking to you guys, because we both want to be in the loop all the time. But seriously, follow us, and you will, if you don't, you'll miss out. That's all I can say. You'll just miss out.
It's true. I mean, even just the Halloween themed events you've had in the past couple weeks have been so cool. I love watching it. I mean, every single thing that you have in that space is different. So it's really fun to watch your Instagram stories.
Yes, thank you. I enjoy my Instagram account for Mess Hall.
I love it. That's, it's really important to love what you do.
I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Well, we will link out to everything in our show notes, and we'll share pictures and all kinds of good stuff, and in our description, so you'll be able to easily get on over to Mess Hall. And by the way, P.S., they do have parking on weekends, and that is a big deal for a DC space. So just needed to plug that one a little bit, because I feel like that is it's just such a rare find. Well, while you are following at Mess Hall DC, you can follow at The Wedding Dish Podcast on Instagram. And we are theweddingdishpodcast.com, where you can get show notes and all of the good things. And don't forget to tune in next week. We'll actually be dishing with our couples social planner, Vanessa from Little Black Book. So I'm very excited to be sharing some wedding planning tips for offbeat couples. It's going to be super fun. And if you like the show, give us a follow, rate, and review on your favorite podcasting app. Until we meet again, cheers.